Well, Kenny Porter, Shawn Porter's father, has some choice words for Keith Thurman. Refers to him as Lil Kiki. Said we'll be waiting ringside for you when you come back, I guess, versus Jesse Vargas, and we are mandatory. It's TBC and more, and your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back, obviously back on the boxing grind, and I really don't care to see that fight. I would like to see it, but I'd rather see the Earl Spence fight next after the Jesse Vargas. Everything goes well. Well, Keith Thurman said, he's not sure the WBC is going to let him do other things, and he must fight, Shawn Porter, a guy who somehow, he got the number one mandatory spot to Keith Thurman after losing to him by fighting Andre Berto. Get the fuck out of here. Then he fought Adrian Granados, and he feels like he's entitled to a rematch with Keith Thurman. I don't believe that to be true. But if Keith Thurman actually knew the rules, which I'm pretty sure he does, if he unifies with Earl Spence, that trumps the mandatory. No matter how long you've been out. Adonis Stevenson haven't fought his mandatory in 4 years, my baby. You could pay Shawn Porter to step aside if it comes to that. I understand they really, really want this fight. We already done seen it, so we rather get to the Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford type of thing. But it's not the worst fight that can happen. They said, Kenny said they'd be ringside. They said they wasn't coming back until the Keith Thurman fight. They said they had an injury, which I didn't believe it to be true. I think it was a hand injury after the Granados fight. I just don't care. I don't care. I wish they just go away and move back up to 54 and just get out our hair. Let Keith Thurman live his life. Let him go fight Earl Spence. But I think he's very happy with, fighting Shawn Porter and getting ready for Earl Spence. That's a good tune-up. I don't say tune-up, but it's a good style mesh for him to get ready for a guy like Earl Spence to a certain degree. They said, Kenny said it was open to fight Danny Garcia. He didn't want it. Obviously, he didn't. They called him out. He told Shawn to send the contract. Shawn probably sent the contract, and Danny said, "Oh, I didn't get it." You know what I'm saying? So we know how Danny Garcia rocking these days. He ain't making Philly too proud right now with his ducking ways. But this is what the Porter's been wanting ever since they lost the razor close thin decision to Keith back in the last year. And we got to sit through it again. It was a good fight. It was an excellent fight, so it ain't something to really hang your head over. But, we know Keith Thurman ain't probably fighting more than 1 or 2 times this year. So that means the Earl Spence fight ain't going to happen until 2019 at the earliest. It ain't something that we already didn't know, But if he looks good versus Jesse Vargas, I'd love to see him jump back in there with Spence in the summertime. But, this is a fight that we just might as well get out the way. See if Shawn can, improve on his performance last time and win. And it's possible. It's possible. But I think Keith made that fight harder than what it had to be. He wanted to exchange hooks with Shawn Porter and hook with a hooker. And for some reason, he didn't use the 1-2 like Kell Brook did. It was a simple 1-2. If you shoot your 1-2 in between those hooks that Shawn Porter's throwing with nice velocity, timing, and speed and power, there's no telling what can happen. He could have knocked out Shawn Porter, or he could have hurt Shawn Porter. He would have won easily. And I question sometimes Keith Thurman's tactics, or his strategy. Especially after that fight, it made me look at him a little bit different. All you had to do what Shawn Porter did. What Kell Brook did to Shawn Porter. You got probably a little bit more speed than him and a little bit more power, athletic ability. But this dude wanted to exchange hooks with this guy and hook with him. I don't understand that. Most of the fight when you could have just used your 1-2 and worked off your jab. But Shawn, I want to know the improvements that Kenny and Shawn is gonna make on their behalf, because it's not a lot to work with Shawn Porter. I don't see a lot of versatility in this game. He likes to come forward and put his head down and headbutt you, elbow you, beat you up, and act real grimy and dirty, which is nothing wrong with that. It's boxing. It's not a clean sport. But I don't see a lot to work with. I don't see a lot to improve with. The jab is erratic at best. It's sometimes it's okay, and most of the times it's horrible. But who can complain? This ain't like Keith is already fighting Jesse Vargas, and that exceeded all of our expectations as well. Fighting Shawn Porter, he gonna close out the year fighting Shawn Porter. I don't see him fighting 3 or 4 times. I know he spent a lot of money being over in the pause over there in Asia. I know he spent a lot of money over there. And he got to make some of that back, especially he got bills at the house and all that. So he very might well be able to squeeze a third fight. But trust me, he not squeezing 3 consecutive tough fights, because Vargas is a tough fight to come back against. Shawn is always a tough fight. And at that point, we know his elbow was good. So he's probably going to end the year with I don't know, maybe a Danny Garcia rematch. If Danny beats Brandon Rios, that makes the most sense for him. And then next year, he'd be ready to hit the ground rolling, God willing, versus Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. So I think that's the plan for him. That's if he gets past Shawn Porter and Jesse Vargas. We never know with Jesse Vargas. He can, the elbow might not hold up. He might have to retire and might lose his belts. Very possible that he can lose to Shawn Porter as well. It was a close fight in the first time. So it's not a gimme that he's going to even make it to that third fight of the year with Danny Garcia without taking the L and make it to the Errol Spence fight and Terrence Crawford fight. There's no guarantee that Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence is going to make it undefeated to a Keith Thurman fight. It's no guarantee. Anything can happen in the sport of boxing. That's why I want to see these fights happen sooner than later. But we know the politics and the BS and the ducking and the duck sauce in boxing. But Shawn Porter and Kenny waiting. We gone.